The big thing in the industry right now, well, it's not just now, it's the last 10 years, has been the frustration on my end anyway. I know a lot of the listeners is if you look at education, there's a lot of great marketers and so they sell you some great stuff, but nobody's coming behind it with support. So we said, all right, let's do a different model. Let's do deals with students. Then you're in the trenches. It's like a win-win. There's no getting around it. So that's what we do now with our students all across the country, mostly and some in Canada.
Welcome back, Freedom Fighters, to another weekly episode here at the REI Freedom Podcast, where we teach you how to build a life of freedom through real estate investing. I'm Jeremy Beeland, the host again this week, and super excited to have you guys tuning in each and every week listening to this podcast. We're so blessed to continue to grow our following, and so happy you guys feel like you're getting great value out of this podcast. Well, today is going to be no different. We're bringing a lot of value. If you guys don't know who this person is, well, you must be sleeping under a rock somewhere. And if you don't, you will after today. He is a very successful entrepreneur, investor, and coach himself, and has been in this space a long time. I'm really excited to share his story and his wisdom with you all today. So let's get right into it. His name is Chris Fontaine. Chris, welcome to the show today.
Jeremy, thanks, buddy. Good to hang out.
My pleasure, man. I'm a big fan of yours, as we talked about offline, read your books. It's funny. I read your book, didn't realize you were a local guy. And so I started reading into the book, and then, we were able to connect. I was able to go on your show and had your son-in-law on my show as well. And now to have you on my show is an honor. But for the people who may or may not know about you, if you could please share your story, because it's a good one.
Yeah, I'll do 10,000 foot view and you can peel back whatever piece you want because we'd be here too long. This is my 34th year this fall. I'm dating myself there. I got fired from a family company that wasn't a real estate company. It was a welding supply company in New England. I got fired after my dad sold the company. I was in my early 20s. My kids were 1 and 2. And basically I was supposed to stay there. And they're like, nope, you're done. So I had to go make it work. I started building some homes with a partner. I never picked up a hammer, but my partner did. And we built hundreds of homes. I then built a realty executives franchise locally, bought it from the guys down Cape Cod, sold that to Coldwell Banker in 2000. And then from 2000 till the lovely crash, I coached. But I wasn't coaching investors, Jeremy, back then. I was coaching realtors, high GCI realtors, like 1 million to 3 million. Back then, that's a lot of commission. But
Sure.
Their lives were screwed up because they were just like spinning wheels, right? So I coached them on more life stuff. And then the crash hit. I had about 23 or so properties at that time. They were all upside down with the crash, and they were all, so at that time, over leveraged. And I was signed personally on every bank loan. Okay. So that was a big boo-boo. Coming out of that, now that was ugly. But if I look in hindsight, it's why we are where we are today. We re-engineered everything we do. We only buy on creative financing. I call it on terms. That's what my book is called. We only buy owner financing, lease purchase, and subject to. So I never, ever, ever, if I say it again, ever sign personally on bank loans. I don't care how good your credit is. Please don't do that. So I don't do that anymore. We don't borrow gobs of money. We put some money down sometimes on our own deals, but not gobs of money. I'm talking in the thousands, not tens or hundreds of thousands. Now that caught wind and people started asking us to teach them in 14, I think it was, end of 13, beginning of 14. So it's been a while now. We've got about 80 markets we operate in now with what we call associates, and we rev share on all those deals, Jeremy. And I'll just say this one last thing. We can peel it back. The big thing in the industry right now, well, it's not just now, it's the last 10 years, has been the frustration on my end anyway. I know a lot of the listeners is if you look at education, there's a lot of great marketers and so they sell you some great stuff, but nobody's coming behind it with support. So we said, all right, let's do a different model. Let's do deals with students. Then you're in the trenches. It's like a win-win. There's no getting around it. So that's what we do now with our students all across the country, mostly and some in Canada.
I love that. And, in our coaching program, we do this the same. That hands-on approach is really important for a lot of people. It's not just as much as education, but the implementation of it all, right? And that's where they need the help the most. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys do that. And like you, I was affected greatly in the crash as well, personally, but not like you were with that many properties over leveraged. And I know you shared that story in some of your books, and it's quite wild because during that time it was pretty grim. And a lot of people would say, forget it, I'm out. I'm going to just go get a job, do something else. But not you. You just said, all right, we're going to figure out a way to fix this, change the way we approach and go a different direction. And then not only did you do that, but you've had a lot of tremendous success as a result of it.
Yeah, I don't want to give the listener the wrong impression either. I didn't do it right away. I wish I did. It took 4 freaking years. Like I went from February of 08 till February of 12 until a couple like trusted mentors, business owners, and my wife said, what are you doing? Like, get out of your way and get back at it. And so it was a mental game at that throughout those years. And let me just for the emphasis on what happened, like I had everything happen. I don't know if the book told them all, but I could peel back stories forever. I had people come with tow trucks to the house for cars. I had it all. So if you're out there and you had a tough run, you can't keep your head in the sand. There's only one way to do it is to get back in action.
I love that. That's great advice. And that's basically what I did as well, because it's inevitable you're going to hit some bumps in the roads. Hopefully not as severe as that one, but you're going to hit some down times. And for you, you also were married and kids, right? So you're providing for your family when the whole world's collapsing around you. That's even more scary. It's not just your business and financial. It's like, how do I provide for my children and my family? That's scary stuff.
Yeah, 100%. My daughter was still in college. My son was working with me. So yeah, you're spot on. Like it's a lot of weight.
Well, a few things that you touched on was sub 2, seller financing, and lease options. Would you mind taking a few minutes and just giving us like an explanation of what all three of those things are?
Yeah. And again, you can peel back more if you want. So I'll start with owner financing, not priority wise, just because we niche that down more. We do free and clear owner financing primarily. So I'm looking for the third of the properties in the United States, roughly, that are free and clear. Because why? Because A, they're usually off market. B, they're usually a seller that presumably doesn't need the money right away, or they would have pulled it out, right? So they're more apt to say, hey, Chris, I want my price, but I can take it over time. Great. It could be estate planning, tax reasons. I bought my own building that way, my office building. So owner financing is neat for that, from that respect, because then we turn around and we make principal only payments to them. We give them the price usually. If we get our term and we can do principal only payments, think of that. In any mortgage market, especially now where rates are a touch higher, you're not getting principal paid out at the beginning. You're getting peanuts.
Yeah, for like 10 years.
Yeah, and if not more. So now this is a great recession hedge. We did a property, I don't know if we talked about this, down in Plymouth on the bluff overlooking the open ocean. And it was a realtor in Boston who couldn't sell it because she had some circumstances that were unique and the market wouldn't buy it, with the mom being there and things like that. So we bought that thing for almost $1 million with very little down. I think it was like $8,000. And we made $2,500 a month principal payments on that thing for 4 years. Well, that's $30,000 a year.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
what the market does, right? When that happens. So that's why I love that little niche. Sub 2 is also a neat one. So sub 2, if you're brand new to it, I don't want to assume things. It just means I'm buying a house and the owners are staying on as guarantors on the mortgage. I use another local because you and I, so Plymouth, Mass. Again, it's actually Marston Mills. We did a property there. We still own it. Divorce, behind only a month or two. Good. They didn't let it slip too much. One's on the deed, one's on the mortgage. They're fighting. They don't even want to talk to each other. Zach actually secured that deal, and that was bought several years ago, and the interest rate is fixed at like 3 point something.
Amazing.
Now, there's not a listener who couldn't go out now for their family and buy these things 2, 3, 4% interest rate if you don't even do it for a business, right? So win. Right. Never going alone. When COVID happened, we had about 76 or so singles, not mentioning other investments we had. But I put my head on the pillow at night knowing, hey, you know what? I'm not on one loan personally.
Yeah.
That's a different feeling.
Sure. And with the sub 2, right, they're signing the deed over to you personally. So you physically own the property, but the leverage of the mortgage is staying in their name, the lien staying in their name, correct?
Yeah. And big differentiation here. People go, oh, yeah, I get that. You can assume it. No, assuming it is, Jeremy and I got to go apply to get accepted for the assumption. No, we're just taking over the property in whatever your attorney papers it in your entity, but your entity or you taking it, and then they stay on the loan until you cash it out someday.
Yeah, we're closing on a sub 2 property this month as we speak.
I love it.
So it was, great way to keep our costs down.
What's the interest rate,
He has around low 4s, like 4.19. So
awesome.
Really, really low. Yeah. He doesn't have much on it. It's two dwellings on one piece of land. And we're just going to basically take it and put some money into it. We'll probably end up burning it eventually, but we're going to just turn it into a long-term rental for a while.
Love it. Can't beat it.
So let's talk about lease options. Can you explain that, sir?
Yeah, it's sort of our least favorite now, even though when I started in the creative world, I wrote a book, Eat That Sandwich, and it was my thing. But then I realized, wait a minute, there's some accounting benefits to ownership. So we do use this as sort of our third priority strategy. And it's great for new people, Jeremy, because they don't have to take title, right?
Right.
I lease option a house. The mortgage stays in their name, of course. The deed stays in their name. I'm just in the middle. So you can't do this in Texas, but you can do it everywhere else that I'm aware of. And that's why it's called a sandwich lease. So I contract with the owner, I control their property. My deposit's $10 usually. Our agreements are pre-written for that. And then we go out and put a rent-to-own buyer in there and we stay in the middle. We protect ourselves by clouding title with a notice of option. That's it. It's so simple.
And with the lease option, now obviously you're putting a down payment, you're making a monthly payment, and to buy out the property, let's just say if you make an agreement with the seller, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that purchase time is, you agree on a price. But when you rent, you're renting, own it, renting to own it to somebody else, but you're making them put down a stronger deposit and then more money per month, and then you're selling for them for more. So in a sense, you're getting more money up front, then you're cash flowing money each month, and then on the back end, when you go to sell the property, if you sell the property, you're making money on the sale as well.
Yeah, a couple tweaks there. Spot on. The only tweaks are when we lease purchase, with very few exceptions, we don't put money down up front on our end. And we tell them, look, if you want money down, then I got to buy it because I don't want that risk. Now, it's okay. Like sometimes someone says, I need moving money. And we go, well, how much? Well, I need $2,000. Okay, I'm going to take some multiple of that off the back end equity then, right? When you cash out. And then here's how we structure. I never talk price with the sellers when I talk lease purchase. I talk, okay, we take a snapshot today. We go, okay, Jeremy, you want 300? Okay. You owe 200. All right. So basically I'm going to guarantee you $100,000 at the end of the 3 years or 4 years, whatever it is, because I don't want them getting caught on price. I just want them getting caught on what are they getting paid at the end? I'm going to pay off the mortgage, which is not going to be 200 anymore. Right. It's going to be lower. That's my benefit. And I'm going to give them their 100. That's all I want them to focus on. Because if not, they get all caught up in 3 years going, oh, I thought this was no, your price is your balance at time of financing when I cash you out, plus any equity I promised you.
I love that. Now, you talked about reasons why somebody would do like owner financing, right? They own the property free and clear for whatever reasons. They're not in a rush to take that money out. And maybe, like you said, it could be tax reasons or things of that nature, right? They'd rather just get paid over time. Now, what would be some reasons that a seller would want to do a sub 2 and a lease option?
Good. This is good because there are obviously there's nuances, but we'll hit a few. So sub 2 categories. One, people always think mentally, oh, it must be someone hurting. Yes, true. That's why we did the one in Massachusetts. They were like, oh, shoot, we're 2 months behind and we're fighting, right? So they needed fixed tomorrow. They watched too many HD TV shows. They had like 4 credit cards built up. They rehabbed this thing, did a shitty job. They just all the wrong things. Okay, so they needed financial relief. But I was sitting right in New Hampshire. I'll stay local here. Rick's done like 4 deals recently where the owner had a higher end house, owed like a third loan to value, not much, was current, just wanted closure. Like, hey, it's my second or third house. I just want to get out of this thing. So Rick put up seller financing on top of that, no interest, no payments for 4 years. So there's some combo sub 2 owner financings that are fun that are not hurting. They just want closure. Lease purchase, interesting, because it could be almost any of these. Lease purchase, they can be like fully leveraged and have no room, but not wanted do a sub 2. So I had 2 back when I started like in 13 with these. In Massachusetts, they just cashed out recently because I said to them, look, you're over leveraged. I need time for the market to come down. Go up and my principal to come down. I structured 9-year lease purchase options with 2 renewal terms on 2 leased houses. And because they had good credit and they didn't want to like mess around with it. And I called them every 2 years, try to convert it to a sub 2, which is another strategy, sandwich to sub 2. And they just wouldn't do it. So we kept it like that. It's okay. You just don't get the accounting advantages. In 1 year, remember Zach and I and Nick, we cashed out like, 15 payday 3s that were on sandwich leases, max tax instead of owning it in capital gains.
And are you like burning any properties or anything like that, or not really? Because you're not doing any kind of value add. You're just kind of taking them as is, correct?
Yeah, we take them as is typically. Now, you can do any asset class like this. So we've done a 4-unit, a 6-unit, and there's different strategy there, right? You want to add value and then add to the NOI and then do something with it. But the singles, yeah, we're not, because we're selling them right away on a rent own or on the financing long term.
Yeah, right. So you're going to get hit with a lot of capital gains tax in that aspect. So it sounds like when you guys go into a seller appointment, right? And I want to talk about marketing after this. So when you go into a seller appointment, you have various different options. So you're really saying, all right, what's the seller really need? And you probably have a method of trying to figure out what their problems are. You have all these creative solutions to provide any kind of situation, really, right? It sounds like no matter which situation you're in, you're like, some sellers you may have like 3 different options for, but you at least have one for somebody in every appointment you go on.
Yeah, the best way of saying who we can help is the best way to do this, because everyone else, to your point, you can kind of bop and weave, right? It gets so cool. That's why it keeps me in the business. Like the deals are always different. Person we can't help is the seller that says, hey, even if I got to take less, I need all of this equity to go buy my family a house in this neighborhood or by this time for school or something like that. And then to which I say, all right, we're not your buyer. But I always ask this script wise. I always say, okay, I get it. What if it doesn't happen? That tells me everything, like the whole motivation. Well, I'll stay. Okay, they're not motivated. Or, well, no, it has to happen. Call me in 6 months. I need you as a plan B. So that's how you find out.
Perfect. So when it comes to marketing, like what is your business model as far as finding all these types of sellers out there?
We rely on lists, and then and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then we rely on virtual assistants to call the list first. So we're not cold calling in any shape, form, or fashion. We're talking people that say at some level, yeah, have them call me. I'm open.
Yeah, generating warm leads for you.
Yeah, somewhat warm, not just calling it like an expired or a FISBO or a for rent by owner out of the blue. Now, there is a cool list we're working. I don't know if Zach talked about it with you, but it's a distress list that's unique, and it's kind of, they don't sell like 10 in the area. So it's unique to what we're doing for our community. But here's what it is. They take metrics, Jeremy, and they know if people are trending financially, credit cards slipping, auto payments slipping, utilities slipping, things like that. They didn't even hit the house yet because house usually is last to go. Or they had a mortgage maybe once late and came back. So that list is a really strong list, and our community is starting to work that list, as am I locally on that list. It's a really strong
That's
one.
great. Yeah, it's almost like if the credit scores are starting to slip, there's trouble there,
Nothing's going
right?
on. Yeah. Yeah.
And you want to get ahead of that, one, obviously to help them, but two, once they get to a point where, pre-foreclosure is starting to happen, right? And those notices have been sent out. Now the whole world knows it and everybody's
Correct.
attacking them, including
Exactly.
credit collectors and everything else. So
Yeah.
you definitely want to get in before all that. That's tremendous. And then, so, I mean, are you selling any of these properties like quickly, or are you just keeping everything long-term?
We keep them all. We don't do any flips. And so we're either putting a rent-to-own buyer in there with a game plan, or we're putting a rent-to-own buyer in there with a game plan to prove themselves, and then we'll own a financing long-term. That just depends on like the student. If someone leaves the W-2 right away, they usually want to get the 3 paydays going like maybe 2 to 4 years. Whereas the guy Rick just mentioned, he did his first, I think he just hit $1 million. So now he's starting to think, okay, now I want to stay in these longer, right? So it's just a personal decision. That's all.
Awesome. Terrific. So listening to you talk, and obviously I've been around the business for close to 10 years now, but I don't know anything to the level you know when it comes to all this creative stuff. You're talking about sandwich sub 2 and mixing different creative financing types. That can get a little overwhelming, right? So everybody's very intrigued by sub 2 and creative financing because for most people, it requires very little money down, right? You're in a situation where if you don't have a lot of money, this can get you in the door and start building stuff. Now, you're not going to get rich overnight, right? This is kind of a long game where you're going to have to work at it, but you can build up that monthly cash flow and those equities and things of that nature. But, it's going to take some time to get there. But the attractive part is very low cost to get started. But you can also screw up a lot of stuff if you don't know what you're doing. And there's so much information out there that I feel like if you just start trying to figure it out on your own, you're going to probably get yourself in trouble. So I'm a firm believer in mentorship and coaching. So for somebody like me, if this is the path that I wanted to go, I would hire somebody like you who could teach me all these things so I get it right and get started on it right away. Can you tell us a little bit more about your coaching program that you offer?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And let me just say, the 2 times that I got wrecked, and one of them was what we talked about, the crash. I looked back later and I went, oh shit. The 2 times were 2 times I didn't have mentors. Like I have someone to go, hey, what should I do? Not keep my head in the sand for 4 years and then figure it out. So that was a mistake. And so to your point, it's important to make sure you do that. The second piece before I tell you what we do is make sure you're talking to someone like Jeremy and myself that have been at it for a while. So they've been through some of the headaches, because you're going to hit headaches. Don't think you're not. And you just need to call someone and go, hey, Jeremy, what do I do? Chris, what do I do? That's how you do it. So to our earlier discussion, we work with people in the field and we do rev share programs, but that's not for everyone, right? Commitment wise and cost wise. So we have group coaching. We call it the apprentice program. Super cool. It's 12 weeks of coaching. They get to also come in our office here. We bring like only 10 or 12 at a time in, very private. And then we have the associate program that involves rev sharing. So it's just a matter of getting on a sort of a little strategy call with me or Zach or one of the strategists and say, here's my goals. I want to go part-time, full-time, and then we'll structure something that works best for you. We've got a home for everyone. It's just a matter of what you want to do.
I love it. I love it. And I know you have an event coming up in September here in 2025. Can you tell us a little bit more about that event as well?
Yeah, it's a different one because I didn't say this to you off here. It's our 10th anniversary event. So we started these in 16. We started.
Congratulations, by the way. 10 years is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we've been at it 12, but the events, this is our 10th. We started the first one, never forget, it was in a basement of a Chamber of Commerce building in Rhode Island. Dreary, rainy day. It smelled musty. There's like 14 people down there. That's it. That's how we started. Now we're in Boston in the financial district in a place called Convene. Super professional. We'll bring in about 150 or so people. We have world-class speakers. I'm talking people that have been on TED Talk and other cool things. This is not an event. You know us well enough. This is not an event where you come and you get 17 different sales pitches. We are going to download you with content big time and a lot of hands-on stuff. You'll hear live calls and things like that at this event. It's October 6th and 7th. You can just go to QLSlive.com. QLS stands for Quantum Leap System. So QLSlive.com. REI.com. And of course, Jeremy, you and there's a bunch of other podcast hosts, you're always welcome as our guest.
Well, I appreciate that. And we'll definitely add that in the show notes. And as far as connecting with you, Chris, for your mentorship program or just to follow you to learn more from you before, until they feel ready to contact you, what are some ways to reach out to you and find you?
You can find, it's mostly Zap. You can find us on any of those social platforms. Just type in Smart Real Estate Coach. No, it's not under Wicked Smart. It's under Smart Real Estate Coach. For example, on YouTube, there's probably 500 deals now. You can just go see the deals. There's Motivational Mondays on YouTube. There's a lot of cool stuff there for free. And then I've got a free book for your tribe. They can all get it. You've been at the books. Just go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Jeremy and the number 2, the numeric number 2.
Awesome. And guys, I've read all his books. They're tremendous. Highly recommend them. And I appreciate you sending that out to everybody. You guys, if you don't go and order that book, you're definitely doing yourself a disservice. Chris, amazing episode. A lot of value today. I'm very, very intrigued. So we're going to be talking offline here in a second. But I think everybody else listening to this should be reaching out to you to learn more. So I'm going to definitely push everybody to do that. And I really appreciate you being a guest on today's episode.
Appreciate it, buddy. Good to see you.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. What a great episode. Chris Fontaine, Wicked Smart Real Estate Coach. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on there. Go download that book today. This is a guy who's been in the business for 34 years, and he's still actively involved today, right? He's been through a lot during that time. You're not going to find anybody better that's going to be more hands-on in this, this niche than him. So I strongly recommend that you start reaching out and learning from him today. And remember, guys, building a life of real estate or freedom through real estate investing comes in many different ways. It doesn't have to be wholesaling. It doesn't have to be flipping. It doesn't matter how many doors you hold. It could be in creative financing ways like this or a combination of everything. Continue to evolve, continue to learn so you can continue to build that life that you guys want so you can have more time to do the things that you want to do. Till next week, guys, we'll see you then. Enjoy your week and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Join us on our journey to achieve ultimate freedom through real estate investing. We understand that the road to success isn't easy, but together we can overcome any challenge. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us grow and reach more aspiring individuals. Visit our website to access additional resources and join our email list. Follow us on social media at REI Freedom for more updates. If you're interested in our acquisition coaching programs, visit reifreedom.com for more information. Let's go.